YouTube, I'm Laura, and for this video we're going to be going over the 5 most important standing poses for you to know, especially if you're a beginner. But even if you've been doing yoga for a little while, it's a good way to refresh your alignment and your safety for these poses. We're going to start with the all-important Warrior One. You're going to start up at the top of your mat, and we'll do things on the right side. We'll step our right leg back. And you want to find a comfortable stance where you don't feel like you're about to fall over. I'm going to angle my back foot about 45 degrees out so that I can square my hips to the front of the mat. And I'm going to bend into my front knee just as far as I can without feeling any pain in this knee or in my back. So hips are pretty square to the front of the room. And I'm making sure also that this knee is lined up right over the top of my ankle. I don't want it to go any farther than the top of my ankle. So if you feel like it starts to go too far forward, wiggle your foot out. Okay, so we have the hips squared, and we're going to take the arms up. And that's our Warrior One. In Sanskrit, it's Virabhadrasana 1. One of the things that we want to be careful of here is that we're not overarching the back, that we're not just letting the belly drop forward. And then we're not using our abdominal muscles to stabilize the pelvis, and we're getting some shortening through the back, and that's going to make you sore. We're going to tuck the tailbone down and draw the belly button back and feel an internal lift. There's this length that's happening. If you feel like that movement's hard, shorten your stance, and you'll be able to get more lift. Good, now, that was your Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. From there, we're going to open into Warrior Two by flipping the hips sideways. And the feet have sort of the same angle. That front foot is still going toward the top of the mat. My back foot still has a little bit of an angle on it, but I've allowed my hips to open to the side. Arms come straight out from the shoulders, and head's going to look over the front hand. Same sort of internal lift here. Draw the abs back and lengthen the lower back. A little drop in the tailbone, but you don't want to go so far back that the back is completely straight. It's a little natural sway in the back. Lots of length out through the fingers. Reach up through the crown of the head. Turn and look over the middle finger on your left hand. And this is Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. For the front leg, you want to be really careful that your knee doesn't start to drop inward. Sometimes that happens because the inner thigh is kind of tight, the outer thigh is a little bit weak, so you get this inward drop. And what you want to do is push until it's out. You get a nice external rotation with your hip, but most importantly that your knee is over the top of your ankle. It's not going farther in front of the ankle, it's right over the top of it. Okay, now from Warrior 2, we can go into our next important standing pose by straightening our front leg. You might even want to shorten your stance for this one. Tip yourself over so that your spine is almost parallel to the mat. Then I'm going to drop my left hand down and take my right arm up. And this is triangle. So for beginners, I like to have people rest the bottom hand on your shin. Just make sure that you're not pushing on your knee. Your knee doesn't like any pressure on it. You reach up through the right hand and fan the fingers open really wide. There's this opening, this stretch that you get through the chest. And they stretch through here. But try to lean yourself back, almost like you're leaning against an imaginary wall. And your head can be looking down, it can be looking straight out, or you can look up at the top hand. That's a little bit more difficult for your balance. If you feel wobbly like that, maybe take one of the other positions. And then we'll come back up. I'm going to bring the feet together. So for number 4, we're going to do chair pose. Really good pose to strengthen your legs, your glutes, all the muscles in your lower body. We're going to start with the feet hip distance apart. Bend down into the knees, sit the hips back, and we'll start with the arms just straight out front. I'll show you that from the side, just like that. And you can see my belly is drawing back and my tailbone is dropping down, so I don't want to fall into that overarch of the low back. I want to keep some stability there. And if my lower back feels okay, then I'm going to take my arms up in line with the rest of my body. Make it a little more challenging, get lower, and keep that length. Take the hands together and straighten up. Okay, last one. Okay, number 5 is going to be wide angled forward bend or Paschimottanasana. We're going to fold down toward the mat. You can give softness into your knees if you need to here. Let the crown of the head drop down toward the floor. Nice deep breaths. One of the most important things to keep in mind with this pose is what's happening with the feet. There's a tendency here to let the foot roll out too much and to kind of collapse the outer ankle. And what we want to do is ground down through the base of the big toe and through the inside edge of the heel. But keep a lift up through the arch into the inner thigh. So that line goes all the way up the leg. And same thing on this foot. Ground down through the base of the big toe and the inner part of the heel and lift up through the inner thigh. Give your shoulders a little shake, let them relax, let your arms hang. And we'll take one more deep breath here. And you can start to lift yourself up. Give a little softness into the knees as you come up. And we'll step back into center. Those are the 5 most important standing poses for you to know, especially if you're a beginner. And make sure to look for the other videos. I'm going to go over seated poses and prone and supine so that you can know all the basics before you go to your class. Thanks, and enjoy your yoga practice. If you enjoyed the content, go ahead and click the like button. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, go down and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, comments, or requests that you'd like to see for videos coming out, feel free to contact me by my email or through my website. Thanks, see you next time.